Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. In this one, I wanted to talk about why I consider running a business to actually be far more stable and sturdy of an income than landing a secure job, as our culture may tend to push you. And this is the opinion and viewpoint of an 18-year-old entrepreneur who has always run his own businesses and has made a lot of money in the process. And my perspective on this is that of a young kid, so I may be incorrect in some arenas, but I know what I know to be true, and I've grown up in a household where entrepreneurship is not only the norm, but in some areas it's the expectation. My father was fired from his job when I was 7 years old. He was working corporate as a salesman for Microsoft software, and he was selling software to schools and large corporations. And he started making money on eBay and got fired because of his split interest. And at that point, our family was in a lot of financial struggle, and my mom was forced to go and work, and we scraped by for a while until Dad began to scale up the eBay business. And it's at that point when I saw my dad as a young kid, I realized that is not only more money, but it's money that he controls. And I'll get to what I mean by that in a moment. So let's look at your options here. Maybe you're a young kid about my age and you are considering getting a job, or you're considering maybe starting a business and you don't know really which one to choose. And I want to come at this from a very rational standpoint. I'm actually going to find a place to put the phone real quick so I don't have to keep holding it. If you're curious where I am, by the way, I'm at a lake house that we've rented out for a minute, and just so we can have some time together. There you go, it's a good spot. So my perspective on this, and this is, while I've been at this lake house, I'll tell you this, at this lake house we've been here for 2 days, and I've made just under $1,000 passively from my businesses. And that has come from setting up systems online primarily to allow for my assets, which are primarily digital, to be sold. And so maybe that's a little broad, I'll get into that in a moment. But if we look at running a business versus working a job, the short answer as to why I believe that running a business is far more sturdy is that it's in your hands. Your hands are in charge of your income, and to the degree that you, and by when I mean hands, I mean your ability to execute, and to the degree that you trust your ability to execute, and to the degree that you trust your discipline, is the degree that you can rely on your business's income. Whereas with a job, you can be as dedicated and disciplined and sharp in your field as you possibly can be, but that doesn't control the market shifts and changes. So you could be an incredible, let's say, a contract consultant for, you know, what, HR reps at corporate or whatever, you know, something super corporate-y like that. Well, you can be the best in the state, or the best in the country, even. Reality is that your business, your corporate organization can at any moment hire your job out overseas. Or it could as well shift their perspective on their market, and your branch ends up getting removed in the process. So you're not in charge. With a ship that big, it's really hard for you to have any steering power. So my theory is I'd rather build a really, really durable and long-lasting speedboat than hop aboard a cruise ship, because I have no control over the cruise ship. And as well, there's other people on board that might throw off the direction that I'd like to see the cruise ship go. And eventually my speedboat may become a cruise ship. And at that point, I've succeeded. And this is what I believe. And so, with that being said, I hope that begins to help you understand the risk at play with going and finding a job. Now, our culture does a very, very good job at saying, look, the risks involved in business are not worth the effort. You have to be skilled in a specific way and find a job. Now, I agree with the skilled in a specific way, but I don't agree with the job, and I've explained why. I still believe you should specialize. So another reason why running a business is a great thing to do is because if you specialize, then you can control your income. So let's say you are for me, I sell online courses primarily. So I'll sell, one right now I have on drop shipping, and then another I have on wedding photography. Courses, information products are a great way to go. And I actually want to start educating on the topic of selling information products later on, which is going to be an interesting thing, selling an info product on how to make an info product, but that's another topic. If you specialize and you serve a specific type of person, and you can target that type of person with an ad of some kind, then you are in charge of your income. So for me, let's say with the wedding photography course, let's say this month I want 20 people to buy my $247 wedding photography course, or I think it's actually $300 wedding photography course. Then I can go on Facebook, spend about $200, and have at my fingertips a list of people who are interested in my course. And I can, over the next month, send them emails and send them updates and give them deals on the course, and by the end of the month I'll have sold those 20 courses easily. And this is the same with any product that I sell. And so I'm in charge of my income at every degree and at every level. If you have an asset and you know how to put that asset in front of the right people, then you're in charge of your income. With a job, your primary asset is your time, and the people that you put it in front of are your bosses. And now this is an honorable thing to do, and I don't think it's a wrong thing to do. I don't think there's anything immoral about it. I think if you feel more secure and you feel like it's the right place to go, then go. And be the best worker they've ever seen, still improve in that environment. But from my perspective, we need to start teaching our people who are younger, like myself, to, number one, start building assets while they're young, things they can sell. And number two, teaching them how to sell them. And that's really kind of the end of it. People make it so much more complicated than this. People make it so complex. They say there's so many areas to business that don't really exist. Like, you have to understand, maybe you have to understand advertising and marketing, you have to understand accounting, you have to understand all these. No, the only layer to it is build an asset and know how to sell it. And that's it. And your asset can be physical or digital. In modern times, digital is the way to go from my opinion. Because I've been at this lake house for 2 days, and I've made under a grand, just under a grand, just about $100 under a grand. Maybe a little bit more than that. So that's my perspective. I think running a business is actually a far more effective way to make an income if you're someone who's trying to provide for a family, or maybe provide for a loved one, or just build a life for yourself. I recommend looking into sales. I recommend looking into the basics of marketing, and I recommend assessing yourself and saying, what am I good at now, or what can I learn how to be good at, and leveraging that. And it doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. People make it more complicated than that because they believe that adding layers to it will make up for the fact that they are not good business people. Because if they understand all the layers, then it must not be their fault. It must be the market's fault. Reality is, the market is wonderful at giving money to the people who truly deserve it. It won't give money to you if you don't deserve it. End of story. Unless you get a grant from the government or somebody donates something. So that's why I believe running a business is a far superior option than having a job. Because the job, again, I'll go back to the original point, the job, no matter how diligent you are, isn't always in your hands. Whereas a business is completely and totally relying on your level of discipline. And if you have discipline and if you have diligence, then you're going to succeed in business, long term and short term. So I hope this video resonated with somebody. This is something that I've been asked a couple of times. Why aren't you, going to college? Why did you drop out of high school? All of these things. Well, it's because I realized that the market is a lot more simple than we've made it out to be. The market is saying, we need people with assets. We need people who are willing to serve us. So all you need to do is find a way to serve people and then put a price tag on that. People think they need to have a job or a degree or some sort of formal, almost permission to begin this process, but that's just simply not true. I ran a wedding photography business before I was 18 that was nearing the six-figure mark, and I dropped it because of family reasons. It took too much time. The amount of money that I was making wasn't worth the amount of time that I was spending. And so I decided I wanted to automate things and hit a new market and try something new. And I didn't get anybody's permission to start that. I didn't go to anybody and say, hey, I need your formal training. I didn't actually pay a dime for formal training of any kind. I used YouTube and Google. And my wedding photography clients were some of the happiest clients that I've ever met. And that's an unbiased opinion. They were very happy with the performance that I provided. And you need to have a customer focus an asset and an ability to market your asset to the right people, and you're going to have a successful business long term. It's not any more complicated than that. So there you go. That's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you're watching this anywhere other than my YouTube channel, subscribe down below. Or if you're watching this anywhere other than my YouTube channel, go ahead and check out Trey Cockrum on YouTube. More videos like this coming soon. If you are on YouTube, subscribe and leave a comment down below to continue the conversation if you enjoyed what I shared in this video. I'll see you in the next one.